Okay, now we come to Sutta 131, Bhaddekaratta Sutta. This is one of the chants we do in our Pali chanting. Here is translated as one fortunate attachment. This Bhaddekaratta consists of three words. Bhada, Bhada, here is Bhade, also Bhada. Bhada means auspicious, happy, fortunate, even can be used as venerable for somebody who is fortunate, somebody who is auspicious, can be called venerable. Eka is one. Ratta or Rati means red or infatuated or attached. So here it translates as one fortunate attachment. But there's another famous monk called Venerable Nanda, and he translates this Bhaddekaratta as the ideal lover of solitude. Bhada he translates as ideal. Ekaratta he translates as attached to Eka. Eka is one, solitude. So somebody who's attached to solitude, lover of solitude. So he calls it the ideal lover of solitude. It's quite a good translation also. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. There he addressed the monks thus, Monks, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Blessed One said this, Monks, I shall teach you the summary and exposition of one who has one fortunate attachment. Listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, Venerable Sir, the monks replied. The Blessed One said, Let not a person revive the past or on the future build his hopes. These two sentences literally can be said to be, let not a person run back to the past or live in expectation of the future. For the past has been left behind and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him see each presently arisen state. Let him know that and be sure of it, invincibly, unshakably. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, it is he, the peaceful sage has said, who has one fortunate attachment. Or it is he, the peaceful sage has said, who is the ideal lover of solitude. So stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says we should not run back to the past and we should not live in expectation of the future. Many people, we tend to be the worrying type. So we tend to worry about the future, what has not happened. We keep planning for the future. And then some people always run back to the past. Sometimes they regret certain things that happened in the past, or a broken love affair or something. They keep thinking, and they are not in the present. But the Buddha says, the past has been left behind, the future has not been reached. Let him see each presently arisen state. See the present, know and be sure of it. And the effort must be made today because tomorrow death may come. So one who dwells diligently, relentlessly, day and night, seeing the present, he is called one who has one fortunate attachment or the ideal lover of solitude. So this fortunate attachment, what does it mean? It means attachment to cultivating the holy life. He has a lucky attachment. It's not a bad attachment. It's a good attachment. The attachment to practice, to day and night, to practice diligently. So it's also an attachment, but it's a good attachment. How, monks, does one revive the past? Thinking I had such material form or body in the past, one finds delight in that. Thinking I had such feeling in the past, or I had such perception in the past, or I had such volition in the past, or I had such consciousness in the past. One finds delight in that. That is how one revives the past. And how, monks, does one not revive the past? Thinking I had such material form in the past, one does not find delight in that. Thinking I had such feeling in the past, or I had such perception in the past, or I had such volition in the past, or I had such consciousness in the past, one does not find delight in that. That is how one does not revive the past. And how, monks, does one build up hope upon the future, thinking I may have such material form in the future? One finds delight in that. Thinking I may have such feeling in the future, I may have such perceptions, I may have such volition, I may have such consciousness in the future. One finds delight in that. That is how one builds up hope upon the future. And how, monks, does one not build up hope upon the future? Thinking I may have such material form in the future, one does not find delight in that. Thinking I may have such feeling, may have such perception, volition, consciousness in the future, one does not find delight in that. That is how one does not build up hope upon the future. So here the Buddha says that not to revive the past is not to think about your past 5 aggregates. The 5 aggregates that we take to be I or mind, body and mind, and it's also body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness. So if you don't take delight in that, then you don't keep thinking about it. And also similarly with the future, don't build up hopes. There are some people hoping that they'll be reborn in heaven with a beautiful body and with psychic powers and all these things. So there's building up hope for the future. So if you don't take delight in the past or the future, then you tend not to think so much of it. And how, monks, is one vanquished or overcome in regard to presently arisen states? Here, monks, an untaught ordinary person who has no regard for noble ones and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, who has no regard for true men and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, regards material form as self, or self as possessed of material form, or material form as in self, or self as in material form. Similarly, he regards feeling, perception, volition, consciousness as self, or belonging to self, or the self as in the aggregates, or the aggregates as in the self. That is how one is vanquished in regard to presently arisen states. Stop here for a moment. So presently arisen states refers here to the 5 aggregates. Just now that saying by the Buddha, instead with insight let him see each presently arisen state, let him know that and be sure of it invincibly, unshakably. So this here the Buddha explains that presently arisen states refers to the 5 aggregates. So when you are vanquished or overcome by the presently arisen states, means that you take the 5 aggregates as the self, or as belonging to the self, or the self as in the 5 aggregates, or the 5 aggregates as in the self. So you have this identity view. You take the 5 aggregates, you identify yourself with the 5 aggregates. So that is being vanquished in regard to presently arisen states. And how, monks, is one invincible in regard to presently arisen states? Here, monks, a well-taught noble disciple who has regard for noble ones and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, who has regard for true men and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, does not regard material form as self, or self as possessed of material form, or material form as in the self, or self as in material form. Similarly, he does not regard feeling, perception, volition, consciousness as self, or self as possessed of the aggregates, or the aggregates as in the self, or self as in the aggregates. That is how one is invincible in regard to presently arisen states. Let not a person revive the past, or on the future build his hopes, for the past has been left behind, and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him see each presently arisen state. Let him know that and be sure of it, invincibly, unshakably. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, it is he, the peaceful sage has said, who has one fortunate attachment. So it was with reference to this that it was said, monks, I shall teach you the summary and exposition of one who has one fortunate attachment. That is what the Blessed One said. The monks were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So basically what the Buddha explains here is that we should not think about the past, our past in regard to ourselves, which is the five aggregates, and we should not build up hopes for the future, and we should not identify ourselves with the five aggregates. If you don't identify yourself with the five aggregates, then you are invincible in regard to presently arisen states. Also in other suttas, the Buddha says not only that, we have to examine the five aggregates and see how they are impermanent, how they are dependent on so many conditions, and those conditions itself are impermanent. So that's why our five aggregates are even more impermanent. So don't attach to it. If we attach to it, we are going to suffer.